All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be breaking down the Sunday night showdown between the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers, giving you guys my favorite picks and plays from each team, talking about the values that we have on the slate. I'll give you guys my first look build, what I'm looking at there, and then we'll compare that against the 9-to-5 lineup builder to show you guys what the optimal lineup is going to be like on the slate. Let's go ahead and get into it. And so we'll start off here with the Buffalo Bills because that is where we are getting our probably best value that we'll get on this slate. That's going to be because Dalton Kincaid is going to be out again in this game. And so we're going to be looking at Dawson Knox to continue to be a good value. Now, the issue with him is it's not the best matchup this week going against the Niners defense that ranks out 5th in terms of points given up to opposing tight ends. That being said, Kansas City Chiefs are a pretty good defensive team, and he was able to have a good game in a similar situation. Last week had 6 targets in that game, 4 receptions, 40 receiving yards. He is someone that already has had somewhat of a floor, but he's obviously priced up a little bit because of the fact that Dalton Kincaid is out. So it's not like he's a free square, but at the same time, to have him as a flex option at 4K, a guy that's going to be starting, a guy that's going to be playing probably at least 60% of the snaps, a guy that has Josh Allen's trust, it's an easy way to get exposure to one of Josh Allen's, I don't want to say top pass catchers, but one of his pass catchers. And then another spot we could get value is going to be at if Keon Coleman is out. And the best value, I would say, would actually be in the receiver department. We'd probably be looking at Curtis Samuel to be another good option for us. Now, he is someone that's going to be in play regardless, but if Keon Coleman is also out, we're going to have a nice safe floor. And if we combine Dawson Knox and Curtis Samuel, we could potentially begin at least 15 points at a combined like 8.4, which is a pretty good value for a showdown slate. And again, you could easily stack those two players with Josh Allen, which obviously we probably want to be trying to get to Josh Allen on this slate. So let's just do it, guys. Josh Allen feel pretty good about. And then maybe we're choosing between Dawson Knox or Curtis Samuel. I would probably give the edge to Curtis Samuel if Keon Coleman is out. At the same time, guys, Matt Collins is cheaper than both of those two. And Matt Collins, I would argue, probably not as safe, but maybe has a little bit more touchdown upside than does Curtis Samuel. So he's someone that, in a weird way, we could actually maybe play in the captain spot. It's not exactly kind of what has become my Xavier Worthy rule for this year, where if we're playing Xavier Worthy, we're typically just playing him in the captain spot or just not playing him at all, because the reward is he goes off. And if he goes off, we want him in the captain spot. That's not exactly the case here with Matt Collins, but he is still someone that is still a solid value play. And I could see him getting, one of these two games that he had recently. And if he does that in this game that, could be high scoring, but also could be more of a defensive struggle, I could see that happening. I could see it being in the realm of possibilities. And so I like him as a good value. And so from there, guys, Khalil Shakir is probably the easiest play on the slate. Again, especially if Keon Coleman is out. He has had a nice high floor. The target share has been awesome for him, especially lately. The issue with Khalil Shakir is he's not playing that many snaps, and he has basically zero red zone work, especially lately. They got him a couple of design receiver screens in the red zone, and I think they figured out early on that was probably a dumb idea, but I still do like the nice floor that he has. I will be struggling to get to him in the captain spot. From there, I do think it's worth calling out, James Cook has been playing pretty well, but I struggle with James Cook the most because if he doesn't score a touchdown, which he has done a lot of this year, which is compared to his previous seasons is crazy, but you would argue that Josh Allen is probably due to get some more rushing touchdowns, although he's had 2 over the past 2 games. I just feel so weird playing both of those two in the same lineup. That to me is the most difficult part about tonight's slate, is that it just goes against everything that we know to do when it comes to DFS, especially showdowns. So from there, let's go ahead and jump on into the Niners. The Niners are a little bit more straightforward, guys. In simple, if we can get to CMC, I certainly think we want to. He hasn't really had a good game thus far. The Green Bay Packers were a defense that they should have been able to do well against, but at the same time, the Packers defense was able to somewhat shut down Devon Achane last week as well. Maybe they're just a better defense than they were at the beginning of the season. Seattle, that was a lower scoring game. And obviously against Green Bay, guys, Brock Purdy was not there. And I think that was a bigger factor. And now we got Brock Purdy back this week. And I think Brock Purdy being back actually helps CMC. And if CMC is going to be playing a full snap share, then I'm happy to get to him. And I think some people might not want to get to him as much this time around because he has been struggling. But this is his 4th game now. He should be good to go. I will say I'm a little bit surprised that Deebo Samuel is actually higher priced than George Kittle. Deebo Samuel struggling a little bit injury wise. He hasn't been able to really get going lately. And again, Brock Purdy's going to be back this game. I think we can somewhat write off that Green Bay Packers game. But George Kittle has been very solid, guys. The target share has not been as high as we would like. That is a little bit of a concern to me. And the touchdown regression is probably going to happen. I mean, he's had a touchdown in every single game except for 2 thus far this season. I mean, it's insane. And so that is a little bit of a concern to me. He almost falls into the phylum of potentially being a captain's play or fade play. I don't know if I want to exactly get there. Now, Juwan Jennings has basically been Brandon Ayuk, and it's weird. It's tough to trust him, even though he's done it now. Like when Ayuk has been out or when Debo's been out, it has been Jennings that has stepped up. It just seems tough to trust again this week. It's like we got the juice out of it. There's not that much left out of it. That's what it feels like as a play with Juwan Jennings. But the thing with the Niners is that's basically it. Like, sure, maybe Jordan Mason gets lucky. CMC breaks a long one, takes it to the 2-yard line. Jordan Mason plunges in for a touchdown. That's in the realm of possibilities, but I don't think we really need to go anywhere else. The only cheap play that I could really get to on this slate, if needed, is like Ray Davis, like extremely cheap play. But that's not even enough for me. Like, I don't like that play as well. So let's go ahead and get into my first look build here on the slate. And so this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. Again, in my first look builds, guys, I'm never going to give you guys a DST or kicker. If you are making multiple lineups, you want to be factoring in there. Typically speaking, if I'm making 150 lineups, I'll set a rule at least for 100 of my lineups where I want at least one of the kickers or DSTs in all my builds, whether it be captain or flex, just one of those. But this is what I'm looking at. Khalil Shakir, I think he has a nice high floor. And if Keon Coleman's out, I want to begin to more Shakir. If Keon Coleman is in, that does change this a little bit. I like the talent of Keon Coleman, but this should still be a high floor build. Obviously, Matt Collins would not be as good of a play anymore. And so this is not as good of a pivot, I would say, but we are getting a higher amount of the studs, projected studs on the slate. CMC, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, and James Cook. We are getting the top scores. Now, obviously, CMC and Brock Purdy don't exactly correlate together, although they sometimes do. Brock Purdy could easily throw a touchdown to CMC. But let's go ahead and take a peek at what the 9-to-5 lineup builder likes. And so, as always, guys, we just need to give this 2 data points to go in off of. We're just going to generate this so you guys can see what the 9-to-5 lineup builder is spitting out as the most optimal build for us. And so here we go, guys. It is getting to some of Ray Davis. Ty Johnson, I do not like that. I would set a rule to not have those 2 in a lineup together. I actually really dislike that. From there, though, yeah, I don't like those 2 together. It just doesn't make sense. I'd rather get to Dawson Knox there. And I'm doing that right now, guys. So here we go, guys. At most one of Ray Davis and at most one of Ty Johnson. I do not want those 2 in there. And so this is a much better look. Bills DST with Brock Purdy and CMC, that doesn't make sense. That's another rule that I would create. That's interesting that that's popping up. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense at all to me. Like, that doesn't correlate, right? And so that's another rule that I would write for this slate. Interesting that that's the top build. But guys, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. If you guys want access to the tools that you saw in this video and want 20% off, make sure you use the promo code KeepCashing. Again, guys, give a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Likes help out the video a ton, which does help me out as well, which is also how I'm able to keep the price on the 9-to-5 website so cheap for you guys. All right, guys, that's all. Good luck with your builds this Sunday night. Hopefully you guys are sitting well in your season-long leagues as well for fantasy football. Depending on when you're watching this, your season could be done. Hopefully not already, but best of luck to you guys there as well. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.